So, something that I've been sitting with recently that I think is really interesting to explore is this idea that people think that they need to do things specifically to be impressive to other people, right? And when I think about this, when I really ponder it and just sit with all of the ideas that come with it, I immediately think of inauthenticity, right? A lot of people have been conditioned to believe that they just can't be likable for who they are as people, right? And it's just so interesting because it's not the reality of the matter. If you feel like you need to be somebody other than who you are to impress people, then whoever it is that you're trying to impress is probably not meant to be in your life. Who you are as you are is enough. And that's the end of the story right there. This pursuit to think that you need to be a certain way or to do a certain something to impress people, it's so interesting because even I grew up with these ideas and stuff, and I thought like, okay, well, you got to be this way, you got to be that way, you got to do this, you got to do that. How do I impress this person, how do I impress that person? The way that this really works is this: your authentic self is enough. If it's not, then the person is not meant to be in your life, the person's not right for you. And I've really been sitting with it because throughout my entire life, I've also thought about these things. I've contemplated these things. And every single time that I've ever tried to, like, impress somebody or, like, you know, think that I need to do this or that or to be this or that to impress them, something just didn't feel right. And the reason it didn't feel right is because my frame was being stepped out of by me, right? There is the authentic frame of the individual, and when that authentic frame is stepped out of, right? And that means, what it is that you're comfortable with. And by the way, when I say comfortable, I mean like legitimately comfortable. There are things that you haven't done before that you can do that you're not comfortable with because you don't have the experience doing it, but there are also things that if you do, they won't be good for you because they will be breaking what is actually legitimately comfortable for you and something that you actually don't want to do. There's a fine difference there. If something is inauthentic to you and you genuinely don't like it, it's going to feel uncomfortable in a way that's not beneficial for you. However, if there is something that you want to try and you want to expand your comfort zone, and maybe you want to pick up a skill, but you're not confident, so therefore you're not comfortable, you could learn it, and that will change how you feel about it. However, if what you're trying to pursue is genuinely inauthentic for you, it goes against your values, this, that, and the other, all of those things, it's just not going to feel right, ever. And a lot of people try to look at what they need to do to impress other people, and stepping outside of what they're genuinely comfortable with is part of that. And so, therefore, it feels inauthentic to them, and then, therefore, they get that feeling that they probably shouldn't be doing it. And then, therefore, the person or people that they're doing it for should not be a part of their lives because if they're being pushed by these people to do this or that or whatever it is, then it's just altogether inauthentic. There should never be any pursuit. It's challenging for me to use the word should because I've learned a lot about the word should. From what I've learned, it is very much rooted in shame. But in terms of impressing people, you, as you are, authentically, are enough. You don't need to be any other way. You don't need to do anything else. It's just the way that you are. People will like you. The people that are meant to be in your life will like you for who you are authentically. You don't have to step outside of your frame. You don't have to change your clothes. You don't have to change your haircut. You don't have to buy things that you can't afford. You don't have to do anything. You, as you are enough. And that's it. And so many people live outside of that, and they're just deeply uncomfortable with their relationships. They're deeply uncomfortable with themselves, but that's because they're not being authentic. Inauthenticity will never get you the right thing in life. And the right thing is what you truly want. And what you truly want is not what you don't truly want. And you can tell that what you don't truly want is what you're uncomfortable with. That's how this stuff works. It's very simple. And so, with that, this lesson that I've learned that, you know, inauthenticity never gets it for you. It's because the people that are meant to be in your life are there because they like you for who you are authentically, right? So changing yourself is not the answer. But looking at your relationships and what your relationships demand or require, that's the key here. That changes everything. So you're either going to be authentic and realize that you don't need to do a single fucking thing but be yourself to impress people because they're already there for that. Or you can get really fucking uncomfortable in stepping outside of your own authenticity, your own authentic frame. And you can try to do things, and there will be friction because it's not going to be right. It's not going to be authentic to you. It's going to make you feel uncomfortable. And your relationships are going to be inauthentic because it's not a true pursuit.